I haven't had any need to run the generator in at least probably 4 or 5 years. So I don't worry about it too much here. I guess I'm lucky.
You know, I'm looking at Bruce Wigler. Is that who it is? I forget his name. Anyway, you know, the guy that's on Channel 5, Storm Team 5. And look, he's showing it as going all to the south of us.
Live from Fort Salonga, New York, KB2 UKA.
Oh, I know where you are, Mike. I used to live out there, if you remember. No, I believe it's going to be primarily coastal. Ray, I don't think you're going to get much of anything.
Yeah, I'm looking at this prediction is showing that where I'm at, I may get 2 inches of snow. Now, down in Providence, Rhode Island, they're predicting 8 to 12 inches of snow.
Just want to say quick, I heard Doug in there. Hey, Doug, you sound like a radio station. And Ron is out there. Good evening, everybody.
Well, hello, Richie, Mike, Rick, Ray. Hello, everyone. Yes, batten down the hatches, so they say. But I don't believe anything that comes out of their mouths.
Yeah, howdy, Doug. Howdy. It's nuts. They make everything out like it's Armageddon.
Depends on which way the wind blows.
Literally.
Tug, how you doing?
Good, Rick, good. Well, you know, I did start the snowblower. There's a couple of guys on Long Island. They have a Facebook page. They call themselves the Island Weather Guys. And let me tell you, they've been pretty accurate. They're going to update their snowfall totals, I think, at like 7 o'clock tonight. But they're saying where I am, we're going to get 6 to 8. So we'll see.
Holy cow, that's a lot of snow. I haven't listened to the weather report. You getting it by you, Ron?
Yeah, we're supposed to get 8 to 12 here. I'm going to look into it now, but they're saying 8 to 12.
Yeah, you know, I got always believe in backups. Lawnmowers, everything. And I've got a big, hefty one with headlights, everything. And that thing will go through any snowstorm we have. Then I have another one. They're both like new. And the other one's a little smaller. If it's not too bad, I grab that light one. But the other one's all, self-propelled, all of that. But, yeah, it's good to be prepared. Let it snow my way. I like the snow.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I wasn't doubling. Yeah, they're kind of reading between the lines. It sounds like it's going to be a heavy, wet snow. And I have one of those single-stage snow blowers, and they're good to about a foot, but not in the wet snow like this. And, I'm 75 now. I don't want to fool with this. So I have somebody that's going to plow my driveway. It's 120 feet long. So if it's going to be 10 or 12 inches of wet snow, I'm not going to deal with it. Too dangerous.
Yeah, Ron. It's good to hear you. Again, it's been a while since we spoke. WX2T. But what I worry about the most here is that, and I got this 5-gallon Jerry filled today, later this afternoon, and I stabilized it and everything. And I don't think I'm going to need it, but the big problem here is usually not the accumulation of snow along the coastline, unless it's a real bad coastal storm. But usually when it's a real bad coastal storm, the islands, where Uncle Barry is, Uncle Barry out on the Vineyard, or Nantucket, they get hit really hard, and Cape Cod too. But I'm just kind of like on the outer edge, the outer band of that, and it all depends. It all depends on the steering of it, but what I really worry about here more than anything else
Canon lens
is
Sony,
the wind
ZVE10
and
Right now
the
I'm
power
using the
lines
kit lens
and what
'cause it's
have you.
got,
That's what I worry about.
my other
I don't
lens is
usually
fixed
have to
50
deal too
millimeter.
much with snow accumulation.
And
We're very, very lucky in that regard, with the
that's
salt
so
air,
close
too.
for the street.
There is some accumulation, but it's all drifting because of the wind. So when people ask me, well, how much did you get up there, Rick? I said, it's hard to tell. I got a snowdrift along the fence that's 4 or 5 feet high, and in my driveway there's nothing. I see black, so it's crazy.
Yeah, WX2T. This is WB2R01. Yeah, well, you're right on the water, and I used to live on the water, pretty close to it. I could see the Great South Bay
Let me lower these guys.
from where I lived on the south shore of Long Island.
I want to try to
I was
lower
about a half
some
mile
light.
from the water, and you get the moderating effect from the water. It's always a little warmer there, and snow accumulations were always a little less than everywhere else. So you'd be getting the same thing up there, but I'm inland now, and I'm in a cold spot on the island, so I went from one extreme to the other, but that's the way it is. Well, we'll see, but if it's wet snow, oh boy, I'm not too thrilled about that. We'll
All right,
see.
good. I like that better.
Back over to you, Rich, and then
I
you
gotta
can
move
pass
this.
it around.
Okay, yeah, I don't like the wet snow. I love snow that's not real wet, But yeah, I haven't listened to the weather report
Now
to
you can
see what
see the
happens.
purple.
And so I didn't see all the stuff in the Super Bowl till the last half hour, but like I said, it was exciting. It was pretty good. And I know Doug had a lot of people over yesterday. He had a house full. He had tons of food over there. Could you imagine if I was his neighbor, Ray? Hey, Doug, yeah, I'll bring over some pizza and stuff, and oh, man, he had a ton of food.
Richie, I hate to tell you this, but all that food was just for me, my kids, and my wife. There was nobody else here. Do you know how much cannoli dip I ate with a tablespoon? I don't even want to talk about it right now.
Oh, cannoli dip. Oh, damn. You was eating good.
Yeah, my God, that reminds me, you were talking about that the other day, and I said, holy cow, this guy's really decadent.
Let's see, what was on the menu last night? It was a big platter, the basics, pigs in a blanket, pizza bagels, the pizza bites, then mozzarella sticks, fried raviolis. We had some pizzas. We had all the Ruffles and the Doritos and the French onion dip and the taco dip. I just ate. I ate the whole game. Finally, in the fourth quarter, I said, that's it. The game's almost over. And then they go into overtime. You know what that meant, Richie? Break out the cream puffs. I got the cream puffs out of the freezer. We ate them frozen. They're better that way. It was a great time was had by all.
Oh, the cream puffs. Oh, don't get me started with cream puffs. Oh, man. What the heck happened? Well, so yeah, you had a ton of food for yourself then. It was just a family then.
Hey, Doug, were you brave enough to get on the scale this morning?
So, no, but I was at the gym at 6:30 a.m. Today we did biceps and triceps. And then I sweated out all those pizza rolls in the sauna for about 15 minutes. Took a nice shower, put my nice clothes on, and went straight to work. I was in my office at 7:50 this morning. No, I try to eat what I want. I exercise, Rick. I just got to keep exercising. That's it. I usually eat a healthy breakfast, and then probably not so healthy lunch, and then dinner usually healthy. A protein, some vegetable, a starch. But no need to weigh myself after the damage I did.
Hey, Rick, I just want to say quick, if I lived next to him and he was going to gym at 6:30 in the morning, I say, okay, yeah, let's go to the gym. And I tell my wife, I'm going to work out at the gym. And then I wouldn't work out. I'd say, hey, dog, bring those cream buns you got and all that other stuff. He'd bring it. He'd be on that treadmill working out. I'd be sitting over by the benches. Oh, don't get better than this.
Well, yeah, Doug, you're a hell of a lot younger than I am. But, you know, I still keep up with my exercise routine every day. You know, I have a regimen. I do a lot of walking, 2 to 3 miles every day. You know, some weights, but not heavy stuff. You know, just toning. You know, weights for toning, not heavy lifting. And I just had some surgery and stuff, so it's not a good idea. But you know, I know how to handle it. But it's interesting. After a night like last night, we had some friends over, and anyhow, they came over here for drinks and hors d'oeuvres, and then we went out to a local restaurant here and had some seafood. You know, it was great, but I'll tell you, you know, it's really interesting with me. You know, cheese, hors d'oeuvres, crackers. You know, with Jen did like an antipasto, some prosciutto and stuff. It's just, you know, I said to everybody, you know what, we could just stay here and I could just eat this for the rest of the night. With the hell with the restaurant. I was actually satisfied after having all the appetizers and stuff, but yeah, it really it's very, very evident on the scale the next morning. But I'm lucky. Like after, say, maybe 2 days or so, I'm able to shed it. But and my wife always says, Jen says, man, it's funny how you get on the scale the next day, you see it, and then but I shake it pretty quickly. But yeah, you know, it's all a question of age, how much you sleep. Sleep is important with the metabolism, you know, and you know, just trying to being, you know, you have to get back to ground zero again after a night of overindulging. But yeah, I had a good time. I hope everybody else did. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. They said the actual attendance was down from past Super Bowls. Interesting. And this Taylor Swift stuff, I'm glad it's all over for the time being. WX2T.
Yeah, I watched the whole game. The reason I watched the whole game probably was because of Taylor Swift, because my 10-year-old daughter took a huge, huge interest in football in the last 2 weeks. And that's why my wife decided to go all out and throw a little mini Super Bowl party here. But as far as the game was, it was a great game. 49ers, the way I'm going to say it is the Chiefs did not win the game. The 49ers lost the game. They absolutely should have won that game the way they were playing. A couple of bad plays, they just gave it away. KB2, UKA.
That touchdown before the half.
Yep.
There was an illegal man downfield. That touchdown shouldn't have counted. The center was downfield, and they never caught it.
Hey, Ray.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Could you send me those settings again? I had something happened with my damn phone. I saw them, but I wanted to print it out, and stuff disappeared. Over.
1480 on all three.
Okay, well, if you can, just do me a favor. Just send it to me again. I want to print it out, okay?
It's simple. 1480 on all three.
Oh, I thought it was more involved than that. Oh, okay. All right. And now this is through your experimentation or on the IO group or all of the above?
The IO group has vetted it, and there's about 30 people running it.
Yeah, I kind of I kind of get tired of that stuff after a while. You know what I mean?
Well, the radio's working flawlessly now.
Well, you have problems?
No, it's just the DSP stuck before.
Okay. Well, we'll try it. see what happens. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with this radio. The more I use it, the more I marvel at it, and I don't use it often enough, but the more and more you get into it. And Ray, honestly, for me, it took me I've had it for a couple of years now, probably about a year, believe it or not, of trial and error experimentation before I finally really felt comfortable with it, and I was able to experiment with everything that it had to offer. Over. I guess he didn't hear me.
Oh, no, I'm just fine business, old man.
But you know what I mean? I've been playing this game for a long time, and I play with a lot of different radios and everything, and they're getting more and more sophisticated. But I have found the menu system is pretty damn good, and a lot of people say, well, it's not ergonomic enough, and it's not user friendly enough. I don't know. I just think they're taking the radio a little bit too much on a cursory level, you know what I mean, on the surface, and you got to delve into it a little bit. But after a while, I think it's fine. I like it a hell of a lot better than the ICOM I had.
Which radio is it, Rick?
X2T.
Sorry, I doubled with you. What radio is it, Rick? I was half paying attention.
Well, I'm on the FTDX 101D.
Oh, that's a beautiful rig. I'm sure it sounds great, and you've got it zeroed in nice. A lot of those rigs produce IMD. You're nice and clean. It's because of the way you're operating. It's a great rig.
Yeah, I think so. For me, I think it fits. It fits the bill. Whatever the expression is. For basically an analog type guy like me, I'm going to be 70 in May. I've been in the hobby since '69. I'm not a big digital guy, a big computer guy, and this is a hybrid. I think the front end selectivity is unbelievable, and I think it's got a lot of super QRM busting features. It's wonderful on CW, which I operate fairly often. Probably not as much as Ray, but overall it's nice. It's nice, and I'm still trying to find the right way to outboard it. Audio-wise, I would like to get a little bit more enhancement out of the receive audio department, but that's always a problem. The scope is fine. It's just a good radio, and I didn't buy it because of the Sherwood reports and all that stuff. I had a 7610 before. I also have a Kenwood 590 SG, which I don't think I'll ever get rid of. And I have a little FT 891, and so I've got a nice complement of stuff. But this is a nice, I think, permanent fixture for me. So anyhow, that's it. But all you guys, you all have wonderful signals. WX2T.
Well, you're 15 over here. Sounding really, really nice, Rick. Everyone's booming in tonight. So this is what, my 4th day with this new doublet. I'm happy at the height it's at. Everything's working well here. Richie, what are the plans for this evening? You got Wheel of Fortune tonight?
We love that doublet because you give a big signal and you sound awesome with that audio. Yes. 7:30ish, the Wheel of Fortune with the misses. But yes, I'll be out here till 7:30. And the doublet, I can't say enough about it. The way you have everything, the height, Good signal. The audio's great. I don't know. If I sound like that, I'd call it a day, Doug.
Doug, can you explain, go into a little more detail about how you have your doublet fed and so on and so forth?
Yes, of course. And I did not come up with this method. My good friend Art, N4QNT, was the first person that I knew that fed it this way. Though after researching it, it's been done for years. So it's a 125-foot dipole. It's center fed. It's up 70, 75 feet, somewhere around there, flat top. True ladder line, 600 ohm. But it's technically about 560-ish ohm because it's about 4 inches apart. I've got 170 some odd feet of that ladder line. So it comes down straight vertical and then it swoops over probably around 50 feet. And then I run it horizontal and I tie it off to keep it well off the ground. It's out in the woods. And it ends in a junction box. In that junction box, I connect the center conductor only of coax. So I have two twin runs of coax, center conductor only, connected directly to the ladder line. That runs about 70 feet into my shack. In the shack, I connect the center conductors only of the coax to the balanced output on my balanced BT 1500 Palstar tuner. I then shunt the shields of the coax to the ground terminal on the tuner. So if a true balanced doublet they say is 97% efficient, that's with the ladder line going straight to the tuner. I don't know, what am I, 85% efficient, maybe a little more? There's a lot of schools of thought that say what I'm doing, I'm showing loads of loss because of the impedance at the 570 ohm, and then I'm showing it 100. Some people say I show it 100 impedance with the 250 ohm coaxes. I don't know, maybe I do. It works well. I could tune it everywhere. What else? At the end of the day, I don't know, ladder line is just wire with jacket over it. I kind of think that's what the coax is. It's solid copper wire with, yes, it has a shield, but the shield's not in play. KB2 UKA.
You could probably benefit from cutting those two shields that are tied together, tied to the tuner. Just chop them off. They're not doing a thing for you.
I was going to experiment with that, Ray. And other guys that do what I'm doing, they also shunt the shields outside where it connects to the ladder line, and they put that to ground also. I didn't do that either.
That's not buying you anything.
Okay, Doug, are you using it? You kind of alluded to an advertisement or a marketing pitch for the W7FG true ladder line. You said true ladder line. Now, are you referring to just true ladder line in terms of just using ladder line, or your own? I don't know if you maybe I didn't listen closely enough. Your own home brew, because that's what I have here. I have home brew. But it's a 160 antenna. But are you using the W7FG true ladder line system?
I am, but when I said it, I meant both, because there's ladder line and then there's true ladder line, which is not window line. The last doublet I had up, I pieced it together, and I have flex weave here, 12 gauge flex weave, and I had all the best intention of building my own doublet, and I wanted to make the ladder line 6 inches apart, and I started building it, and then I flipped the table over and said, I don't have the time. So I called Gary up. I spoke to his daughter, and I said, listen, can you please build me a 12 gauge version? I don't care that the ladder line is 4 inches apart because it's good enough. But can you build me a 12 gauge? And she said, I'm sorry, the largest we could build is 14 gauge because they already have all the spacers cut and they can't fit 12 gauge. And I guess they didn't want to machine any more spacers for little old Doug. So at the end of the day, 12 gauge, 14 gauge, it's fine. I'm not going to burn it up. And you know, it's two solid pieces of wire, no splices, no cuts, and that's it. Well, we'll see how long it lasts, and maybe if I have a few weeks to do nothing, I'll build my own ladder line.
Yeah, well, you sound great, and they're nice people. Nice people to deal with. Well, I built my own in the garage, as the Brits say. What the hell was it? Over the fall, and I hoisted it up, and that's what I'm on now, and I can't remember the name of the company where I bought the spreaders from online, but I think I'm at 3.5 inch spacing. So anyhow, I have a short run, 60 feet down into a DX Engineering Ballon 1-to-1, and then I transition. I shouldn't use that word. That's, you know, for a conservative, when you use the word transition, that's kind of a scary thing. I hate to use that word, but I transition from this homebrew stuff that I built. And it's good. You know, it's what is it? I'm using 14 gauge stranded, you know, the THNN crap. It's all right. It works fine. And then they go into the Ballon, and what do I have? A 4 foot run of RG213 into the back of the tuner, and everything's hunky-dory.
So let me see if I have it. Okay, so the only experiment that I would want to do, but it's a costly experiment, so we'll see how the stock market does this year. I'm tempted, and I know Ray's on the line, so Ray, maybe you could tell me it's not worth it. I'm tempted to pick up that remote balance tuner that's built like a tank that's on the True Ladder Line website and put it right underneath the ladder line, throw some SO239s on one of those twin coaxes out there, and tune the damn antenna right underneath it. That's going to make that, now we're talking 98% efficient or whatever he advertises. But, you know, whatever you're copying me now, are you going to copy me like 5 dB more? I don't know.
Do you have a tall pine tree? No, a pine tree that's fairly tall that you can get a tree guy in to take all the limbs off it?
Not pine, but I'm up on 270 some odd foot. Well, the trees are taller. 2 maples that are really tall. What, you think an inverted V?
No, what you do is you need something substantial. You know, so a telephone pole, a 60-foot pole, or a 70 or 80-foot pine tree with all the limbs taken off. And then you put a 270-foot dipole at the top of that 70-foot pole, and your remote antenna tuner mounted right there, right where the wire is, over.
Oh, so you're saying don't even use ladder line. Just put the tuner up at the height of the dipole.
That's where it belongs, right at the feed point.
That's the most efficient place for your tuner.
Absolutely.
It is, but it's tough.
No, it's not. All it requires is one single support.
I could friggin' I could even use that. It's still expensive, but it's cheaper and it's lighter. The Legal Limit MFJ tuner. I know it doesn't have a true balanced output, but if it has a wire output and that thing's light, I could get that thing up in the tree right now.
Well, that is the most efficient way to do it. No doubt about it.
Yeah, we When you do that, you eliminate any transmission line losses into a line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Open wire line, there is no transmission line losses.
Yep, you could have a 400-foot run of coax.
You can have a 1,000-foot run of open wire line, and it would probably be somewhere around 0.3 dB loss, over.
Put it literally up at that height. I never even thought of that. I always thought, okay, well, you got to get the ladder line down to the ground and connect it down there.
Single support is all that's required.
But it has to be mechanically superior.
Well, the MFJ tuner, the blackface one, that one that's in the black case, I've had one. I used to use it on a vertical right at the feed point at the base, and it worked very, very well. I thought it was going to break because it looks like junk. It lasted 4 winters here until I moved. That's very, very interesting. I think I could manage that. I think you don't need any ladder line, Ray.
Well, you need a feed line to feed, a feed line that runs up to that matching network.
Right, but like how long would what could I do? 5 feet? Like 5 feet below the dipole? 2 feet below the dipole?
Right at the feed point.
So what you do is, in that situation, if you want ultimately lowest loss, put that remote tuner right at the feed point, and you feed it with open wire line. It's a balanced remote tuner, over.
Yeah, that's bad. That's textbook ultimate efficiency.
Yeah, now the problem is that balanced one weighs a ton. So then the question is, do you take a current barrel connect it to the back of that MFJ one and throw it up there? It would work. Or, like you said, you hire somebody to bolt the damn tuner right into the tree up there.
Yeah, you get an experienced tree guy that knows what he's doing. Come and have him clean the tree up, so now you've got easy access to it, down the road. Have him climb the tree and permanently install everything, and away you go.
Make sure it's hermetically sealed and weatherproof to the hilt.
Oh, yeah. Anything I put out there that says it's weatherproof, it gets a once over by me anyway. With re-silicone, self-emagulating tape on top of it. Absolutely.
Okay, you don't really have to go that crazy. If you want to ultimately totally waterproof any device, what you do is you get a trash bag, any type of trash bag, and you put the device in a trash bag, and you bring all the interconnecting cables out the bottom of the trash bag, so everything exits the bottom of the trash bag, and then you tie wrap the bottom together to close off any airspace. Then you stick that inside of a good NEMA enclosure. And the trick is after you've done all of that, you foam fill the whole thing. You blow the thing up with foam. Water will never get in there, over.
Yeah, that's very good. Yep. Very, very interesting. KB2 UKA.
And if you want to take it
Just use end connectors. They're weatherproof.
And if you want to take it apart, you open the door up, you cut through the foam, you cut through the trash bag, and everything is brand spanking new in there, over.
WX.
NR1R.
Heading 208.
KF2 Goofy Guy. Ron, did you go? I think he usually gets off around this time. You in there, Ron?
Yeah, I think he went to Din Din.
Oh, okay.
Is your amplifier off, Richie?
Oh, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, he sounds a little low, doesn't he?
Is it off? 1, 2, 3. SWR is flat out. No, yeah, I'll be darned. It's on now. 1, 2. See, now my CFC, Doug, you had me set that at about 5 dB. But I lowered the mic gain down because it's causing problems, Ray said. He sees like a carrier. Am I still okay, though?
You're perfect.
Sound great up here in your 20 over. And sound sotto voce.
Richie, in between words as you talk, you don't want to be hearing all this going on, over.
No, you're right, Ray. Absolutely right. I don't want that in there. And even in my headphones now, I don't hear all that noise anymore. And the thing, what I'm saying is I'm still as loud, though, right? Because I hear Doug, he's loud. I still sound okay?
You're louder than he is.
Holy cow. All right, then, I'm good.
Richie, you're impotent. And, that's the good kind of impotent. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's good. I don't mean to be a pain with all this. I just want to make sure by lowering that down, I'm okay. So good. Everything's fine. My zero reflected power, SWR, is great.
Okay. You're looking at about 35 dB of dynamic range. In other words, when you talk, your speech peaks are 35 dB louder than your weakest speech peak, over.
Cool beans, yeah. Then, I already have everything saved in profile, transmit. Because that's what I usually like to do, Ray. Just get on, talk. So I'm glad you told me that yesterday.
You sound great, Richie.
And just for reference, and probably Ray is probably pretty close to me too. He's not, an hour away from me, if that, further north and northeast. You're peaking 15 over in terms of signal strength on a very Scotch S-meter.
Oh, cool. And I'm running 700. 1180 watts, 1135, 1177, right where I want it. So everything is good. I have it at 17 watts.
Richie, turn it down to 15 watts of drive, and the amplifier will not heat up nearly as quickly.
Yeah, Rich, what is your drive power right now?
Okay, now it was 17. I put it at 15. It's 1,000 watts. But if I look at my drive power on the GUI, on the Anan forward power, I'm running about 1110 watts. So it's not correct on the drive down here. So I'm going to raise it till it says 15 watts. No higher than that it goes. And I'm doing about, holy cow, I'm doing about 1250. So I could, I don't know. All right. Well, the drive says 19 Ray and to the left, and then the GUI up at the top where I put forward power, it showed me 15 watts I'm doing.
Yeah, that's, you haven't calibrated that watt meter in the radio, over.
Okay. So what should I listen to? You think the all the way to the right at the top there where it says forward power?
I would only drive the thing with about 12 to 15 watts. I wouldn't go any more than 15. 15 watts for me turns this amplifier on to over 15 out, over.
Yeah. Well, yeah, on the amplifier, it's only showing me about 1150. So I should be all right. The power on the amp shows 1180, right around there.
Okay. The watt meter is 100 watts it's 100 watts to the weak side. If you put a good calibrated watt meter like an Array Solutions PowerMaster 2, you have calibrated on 80 meters, so 5 watts is 5 watts. When I look at the watt meter on the Lux, it'll say 800. The Array Solutions real watt meter shows 900. So I would take that into consideration. I wouldn't be running that. If you're using the watt meter and the lux, turn the drive down. You don't need to drive the amplifier so hard.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm turning it down. I'm doing 1,050. Is good right there, Ray?
Yeah, okay. So 1,050 is really 1,150.
Okay, so I'll leave it there then. I won't touch it.
Yeah. I agree. Don't get hung up on what you see and what you hear, and all this is subject to interpretation. What am I? Not even 700. Yeah, about 700. I'm 10 watts. I could turn this up a little bit higher, but you guys are hearing me okay. And I'm sure if I had some external power metering hooked up, I might see something totally different. But Ray and Richie, I'm just looking at this on the Mercury 3. This is no big deal. This is not sophistication, but I think I'm clean from what I've heard and what I hear in my headphones and the second receiver. I'm doing it appropriately. I think I sound clean. I don't have any IMD. That's what I'm concerned about. But this is fine for me. Over.
Hey, Richie.
Any meter in any amplifier, they're usually slow. They don't get the peaks.
Okay, I spoke to Angel about 3 weeks ago about this discrepancy in the power meter, and he admitted to me that they purposely calibrate the watt meter to read higher than normal. In other words, people will not turn the power. In other words, what I'm trying to say is the watt meter is reading. How do I describe this? When you look at a regular watt meter, it's 100 watts less. So that means you, not knowing this, drive the amplifier less. Over.
Yeah, Richie.
I hear what you said, and I hear what Mike said, and but I run this conservatively. This is 10 watts drive. So anyhow, for what I'm doing here, rag chewing, this is fine. This is perfect. So no, everybody needs to understand their equipment. Their exciter, their transceiver or transmitter, whatever the hell it is, and their correspondingly their amplifier to follow, and the characteristics thereof. And if you run stuff conservatively, you're not going to have any problems. WX2C.
Yep, and real quick, so Richie, this Australian amp, the VK amp, right now, the amp is saying that I'm doing about 1,650 watts, but my LP100 says 1,495. As I get closer to the middle of 20 meters, the output of the amps meter and the LP100 start to match. And then when I get past 20 meters, 17, 15, 12, it's the opposite. The output meter on the amp is lower than the LP100. So I go off of the LP100, and the reason I know that Onder calibrated these amps in the middle of 20 meters. So it's like 150 to 200 watt difference what the amp meter is showing me compared to the LP100. Also, Richie, real quick, what's your call? I want to send you a video.
KF2 Golf Golf. King Foxtrot, number 2 Golf Golf.
Did your amplifier drop out again?
No. It's showing 1,020 watts. Reflective power, none. SWR is perfect.
Okay.
KF2 Golf.
That band is crazy.
Who is that?
That's Frankie. Frankie, how you doing?
KF2 Golf. Goofy guy. Hello, gentlemen. Norway 2 Queen Fox. Hello. Ricardo. Hello. And Dougie Doug. And I was going to say Norm. But I think I heard Ray, Uncle Ray out there. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello, Frankie.
Listen to Frank. He's such a gentleman. He said, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. And, hey, real quick for you, Doug, I heard you real quick. I wanted to make sure I understood. So your amp has an output power that does not match your power meter, correct?
Correct, and neither did the Mercury. The Mercury didn't either. Mercury was a little more accurate than this. This is about 150 to 200 watts off, around 20, right at the middle of 20 meters, so around 14,250. It's pretty much it matches. And then as I go further up in frequency, then the output on the amps meter is lower than the true output. So it goes the other direction as I go up in frequency.
Hey guys, I'm out of here. WX2T, good hearing everybody.
So I guess, let me ask you a quick question. Sorry, is your tuner remoted or is it not remote?
It's not remote. It's the balance tuner. So it's right here next to the output. And I'm sorry, it's important to add, the meter on the tuner matches the LP100. So the only thing that's not matching here is the meter on the amp.
Yeah, so the calibration's a little off.
Yeah, I'm wondering. So mine is remote and I have that problem, right? But I can manually tune it. So what happened is that the Q is going to go somewhere, right? So either going to be at the tuner or it's going to be at my radio. There's going to be a slight imbalance because of the line loss. So what I do is I minimize the line loss coming back to the radio and allow the antenna to go high. There's still, almost a 1.2 to each, but that's how I do it. So I get much more output out of the amplifier.
At LP100 sampling at 50 times a second, I put my chips on that.
Yeah, and I didn't know which one to trust at first, and then I had another watt meter, an Ameritron watt meter before I had this, and that was still reading higher than the amp. And then I got the LP, and that was reading the same, and it's also reading the same as the tuner. So again, as I go up in frequency, it begins to become one-to-one and match.
How much is the LP100 meter?
I think they're 500 for the 100A. Is that right?
500?
Yeah, well, it does a lot of things, Richie.
Extremely accurate. I benchmarked it against my lab gear and it was dead nuts on.
About 200.
Negative there. With the coupler, about 550 shipped.
Holy crap!
Yeah, but it's pretty. It's digital display. Your call sign scrolls across it, and it would match your Lux beautifully.
Listen to Doug.
They take like 3-4 weeks to send it to you, too. They build it when you order it.
Huh? They don't even have it in stock?
Remotely.
Yep, you could control it remotely, which I don't do, but you can.
Wow, they don't even have them in stock. I hate waiting for things, too.
You can pick them up on QRZ. They show up often.
Oh, really? Maybe I'll look in there.
You may get one for 400.
400? Maybe 350.
They go up on there, Richie. They're gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah, really.
No kidding. Boy, they're pretty popular.
They last minutes.
They have a real log detector.
All right, so maybe I should get it then.
Why do you want to blow more money? You got a watt meter in your amplifier.
Yeah, you can't compare them.
Right? So just figure So if it's 1,080 now, what is it, lower? Then it's only doing 100 less?
You can pop the cover on that thing and recalibrate that watt meter in about 10 minutes.
No, if it doesn't sample fast enough, it'll never show you your absolute peaks.
You can recalibrate that watt meter in the amplifier, Richie, in about 10 minutes.
It's like calibrating the VOM for RMS. It sounds nice on paper, but in practice, it's different.
Zero reflective power, SWR.
The same calibration procedures that you use for the Mercury 3 that you built is the same one you use for the Mercury 3 that's built and the Lux, over.
Yeah, but what do I calibrate it to?
It's all on board.
What you have to understand is the Mercury is used that little Arduino to sample that and display the wattage. I closed my case.
Hey, by the way, there's a Whiskey Zulu 8 India selling an LP100A.
What's he want, Ray?
$450 plus shipping.
Oops, what was that noise? Yes, no deal then, if they're 500 new.
That's what I say. Richie, check your email. That's how you sound, and that's how you look on my pan adapter. That is a true representation of your audio on my end. And I got to go bring my son to basketball. 73, guys. Always a pleasure. Take care.
Doug, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm going to go check my mail. I'll be right back.
See you later, Doug.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
7.3. You could also get a dual coupler option.